My name is Kenny Preston, and I'm 19. I was getting straight Fs. Every once in a while I'd get a D or a C, but my grade point average was below 1. Everyone knew I was smart in school. People just thought I wasn't trying. I have executive functioning disorder, which is I can't organize anything, ever. They just thought I didn't care. Well, it started around the time I entered high school. I had an individualized education program, which is an IEP, and that's supposed to help a student find ways to better complete schoolwork.
It was difficult for them to really believe that he has a disability, even though it was on paper and there had been testing numerous times.
When the IEPs first started at my school, the only people we had were my grandmother and my aunt.
My mom tried lots of different things. She had advocates and she had parent support.
My grandmother eventually passed away, so one of our family friends, Ann Mason, and my aunt, Catherine, became my school advocates.
I attend many IEPs and have worked with many school districts, so I thought, I'll go to those IEP meetings, I get along with school districts, I'll make magic happen. And of course, that was not the case. The school district was just as rude and unlistening to me as they had been to Kenny's grandmother and Kenny's aunt and Kenny himself.
He was really struggling, really struggling.
We would say this is what he needs, and then they would give us 2% of what he needed, and then they would fail him. And at the end, they would just say, well, look, he's gotten all Fs.
And eventually, they just kept pushing and pushing until they served us with papers. They tried to sue us. They wanted to put me in a therapeutic day school, which is basically where people go with behavioral problems when they can't be in a normal school setting.
I would say to him, Kenny, the school district is nuts.
It just became this huge pit of nothing getting done.
My name is Annette Kirkham. I'm a senior attorney at the Fair Housing Law Project. We are working on a loan modification scam lawsuit in state court. These folks offered loan modification services, charged the clients significant amount of money and performed absolutely no work. And sometimes the folks face the loss of their home because they've been instructed not to pay their mortgage. We hope that we are going to win.
I represent low-income folks living with HIV and AIDS or diabetes in cases involving their public benefits, their housing, creditor harassment, estate planning. We take a large variety of cases to help folks with issues that are impacting their health in a negative way. My name is Marlene Bennett, and I'm a senior attorney at Health Legal Services.
I think that the level of behavior that we saw from the school district in this case was worse than I had seen in any of my previous cases, and I've been doing special education law for quite a while.
And then Carrie stepped in and everyone was just blown away. She knew what she was doing, she knew the law.
She came in at a time that was really crucial because that was a time when the school really wanted to have him out and sort of wanted to blame him also for his educational failures.
She was kind. That was the amazing part.
I couldn't believe it. I thought, we finally have lawyers at the table, and they're still not listening.
They had a lawyer too, and his main tactic was he was going to be really mean and intimidate you, which didn't work. And Carrie was just like, okay, well, I have all these things to say, and I'm going to say them kindly, and everyone's going to listen to me, and we're going to move on. And that's what happened.
Once they hit us with that, they were going to take us to court, and the Lacey group really went into overdrive.
The district's theory was that all of Kenny's problems had to do with mental health, and that's why he was unable to be successful in a school environment. It was absolutely wrong. That was contrary to what the expert report said.
And needed to be in a therapeutic environment, and that he didn't try, and that, you know, they had done everything possible.
I think the hardest part was just sitting there while everyone was talking about you and figuring out what they're going to do, and you can't say anything until you're called up as a witness. So just like having to sit there and like listen to all of it was pretty difficult. But
we didn't bring a ton of witnesses ourselves because we had Kenny who could speak to his experiences and his educational rights holders who had been through years and years of trying to get the district to do the right thing.
I felt like we had a force. You know, I felt like there was this wedge, you know, we had this wedge we were building, it was getting stronger.
It doesn't feel good going through it because you know what's at stake. And you know that this student has just been harmed by what the school district has done to him. And you know that if you can't win it for him, things are not going to go well.
My name is Ilsa Branch, and I'm the supervising attorney for Mental Health Advocacy Project. We provide legal services for people who live with mental illness and developmental disabilities. It's something I just care really deeply about. I think it's everybody's responsibility to do their part to make a difference in this world and in our society, and this is the part that I've chosen. I like it very much.
I'm Kira Kazantzis, and I'm at Fair Housing Law Project and Public Interest Law Firm. We generally represent large groups of people to protect the rights of people who are disadvantaged, low income, and people in our community that really need some extra help. I've been here 20 years. I like to say I started when I was 12. It feels a lot shorter, and it's because I'm here shoulder to shoulder with my comrades, and we are fighting the good fight. And it sounds cliched, but every day, if I get to help somebody, or God bless, to help 1,000 people, I'm sleeping better at night, and I'm coming back the next day, and I'll be back, 20 years from now too.
What came back was just a miracle. I mean, it was so perfect. I cried. I don't know if anybody else cried, but I cried. Because the judge said, you have not met this young man's needs, period.
And when I saw the remedies the judge ordered, the hearing officer ordered, I knew what a difference they would make in Kenny's life, and I was ecstatic, and I couldn't wait to tell everyone.
That he was learning disabled, that he deserved the help, that they didn't give the help, and that they needed to then provide something.
The support for his executive functioning, it was really incredible. I could not really believe it, actually. I mean, it was unbelievable.
it was just a weird room to try and cheer in. But afterwards, when we got outside, there was cheering.
I'm so happy Kenny got the care too, but it really made my day when I found out that the judge said, and they have to pay for those lawyer fees because the school district caused it. It was fabulous.
We ended up reaching a settlement agreement through which Kenny would no longer be served by the district, but the district would pay for him to continue to get appropriate services elsewhere.
Now I'm getting straight A's at Fusion Academy. I'm really enjoying school a lot more. I feel like I'm actually going towards my goals.
Going from straight F's to straight A's is pretty incredible. But honestly, it was not surprising to me because I know that he is very intelligent and he's very interested and he's very engaged.
Seeing my life pick up has just been kind of like liberating.
I think he could not possibly have survived all that he had to go through over these last 2 years without that support, without knowing there was a lawyer who really knew and really cared and was going to work for him. I think he would have given up.
I remember in church one time, and this was maybe when he was like 11 years old, he and my mom were asked to give a talk about what would they do with their one wild and beautiful life. And he talked about wanting to grow up. He talked about wanting to, with his one wild life. He wanted to grow up and be an engineer and be a really good dad. And those are all things that he didn't really have. But I think it's possible.